record.
Yes, thanks, Elmarie. Okay, so I'm going to start that all over again and say hello and welcome to Virtual Vogue Knitting Live 2022. My name is Bridget Henderson and I am the founder and owner of Cowgirlblues. This is Elmarie, who is literally and figuratively my right-hand person. Many of you know her better than you know me because she makes all of your orders happen and among many other things in the business. So it's nice to have Elmarie here this evening as well. My pronouns are she, her. Elmarie?
She, her.
Yes, so please, you're welcome to put your pronouns in your name so that we know how to refer to you correctly. And then in terms of live transcript, have we turned that on or do I have to do that on? There we go.
Here we go. Enable.
Here we go. Yes. So the live transcription, the closed captioning has been turned on. And you need to just make that selection if you would like to be able to see the captions at the bottom of your screen. Zoom doesn't always translate our South African accents perfectly. So yes, you will get some funnies in there, but that's just part of the show. And then VKL also asks us to please remind everyone to be kind and respectful to the event producers, fellow participants. If there are any issues, you might receive a private message. We all want to do our best to make this a welcoming event for everyone. So I look forward to your support in that. And I think that's our main housekeeping out the way, right?
Yes, that's the serious business.
Okay. Okay, yes. Fantastic. Thank you. And then to say, we're looking forward to showing you some yarns. Do you know where to find the reaction buttons on your Zoom app? If you do, perhaps you could just hit one of them now. Anyone, you can give us a little round of applause or a thumbs up, or because I'd love to get your feedback on a couple of things as we go through. And then also just to say, please use the chat with any questions you may have. The other person who is with us today is Katie Thompson, who is behind the screen, behind the scenes over there. And so she is posting answers to your questions in the chat and also putting links to things like our online store, the discount code, that sort of thing. So thanks, Katie, for being here this evening, and do feel free to put any questions, comments, reactions in the chat. So Katie has just posted in the chat that we have a coupon code this evening. VKL Jan 22 gets you 10% off your order, and it's valid until the 30th of January. So next weekend, if you want to go and plan a project that you might need to kind of figure out your yarn quantities and things, or if you want some help from us in terms of color combining, then take your time to place your order because you can still use the coupon code. Mm-hmm. And is there anything else I'm supposed to say in my welcome? No, I can now hand over to you because you're going to. Oh, I know there is one thing that I wanted to ask is it would be really great to get an idea of who has and hasn't been to one of our presentations before. So if you are using the reactions, if you found those, maybe you can give us a thumbs up if you've been to one of our presentations before, because then we have an idea of must we start right at the beginning in great detail with our story, or have more people seen it before. And it looks like we need to share things from the beginning because not that many of you have been before. So Judy, you're very welcome as a first timer, and we'll take you through. Elmarie's going to tell you a little bit about the business, and then we'll take you through our yarn bases and the different colors that we put on the bases. We have got some limited edition colorways. Everything is on the theme of green because that's our color theme for January. It's the beginning of a year. Green is all about growth and regeneration. For us, it's been summer, so there's lots of green around. And so we're using a green theme this evening or this weekend. And we'll take you through the different colors, the projects, the yarns, and feel free to ask questions as we go along.
And if we go too quick, just remind us, go back, please.
Exactly. Yeah, I know I particularly tend to speak quite fast. So if I need to slow down, please let me know. Okay, so over to Elmarie, who will tell you about Cowgirlblues.
Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Elmarie. As Bridget said, I am the logistics part of the family. And just to tell you a little bit about Cowgirlblues, so Bridget Henderson, she was more in the corporate world, and then she just got tired of being corporate life, and she saw a gap in the yarn market. And because she is from a creative family, so her grandmother knitted and crocheted, her mom knits and crochets, so all of that is in her bloodstream. So, and she saw a gap in the yarn market, and she took it and she ran with it. And today, 8 years down the line, here we are, Cowgirlblues Pty Limited in Cape Town, South Africa. She started in her kitchen. Yes. And up until today, she still says that she has some dyeing stains on her kitchen table, which I haven't seen yet. But she needs to send us pictures. But, and just how amazingly from her kitchen, she opened a store in Montebello, in Newlands. And then as she grew there, the place got too small. She opened a shop in a factory in Woodstock. And we even grew more, and we needed a bigger space. And now we're in Maitland, where we have a massive place where all the magic takes place. And we have about 11 ladies working for us. So everything is handmade, every color, every item that we do is handmade and not machine made. So it comes with love, and we appreciate everything that we do.
Cool.
Yes.
And Elmarie, how long have you worked at Cowgirlblues?
Oh, I think this is going in for 7 years this year.
That's a pretty long time.
So yeah, I think I'm part of the furniture right now.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, so it's amazing. So when you come to Cape Town, whenever you can come, please come into Cowgirlblues. We will give you a tour around the studio. You might even be lucky to do some demo dyeing with us, and maybe even create your own color. So please, whenever you come to South Africa, please pop in at Cowgirlblues. Yeah, so that is Cowgirlblues in a nutshell.
Nice.
Pleasure.
I think she's going to tell you about the yarn bases next.
And
I'm ready.
So for Cowgirlblues, we have 7 yarn bases, which are consist of 4 marine 100% merino wool, which is we have here our proper sock.
25% nylon on the proper sock.
Oh, sorry. It's 80%, 75% wool, 25% nylon in the proper sock. Then we have,
take this one off and just, so I'm going to hold that a little closer so that you can see the actual yarn. It's a 3-ply twist and a very nice weight, about 360 meters to 100 grams for the proper sock.
that's correct. And next we have our 100% merino wool in DK, which is 170 meters per 100 gram.
And this one's a standard double knitting weight.
Double knit.
Yeah.
Weight. Next on our board, we have our merino twist, which is equivalent to a 4-ply. And it's perfect for baby jumpers or a light shawl.
Sweaters.
Sweaters.
Yeah, you would call it a sport weight in North America.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That a little closer so you can see there.
And then next we have our 100% merino wool lace weight, which is about plus minus 600 meters on a 100 gram skein.
Don't turn it.
Oh, sorry.
It goes blurry in the picture.
100 gram skein. And this is perfect for a very light shawl. And you can actually combine it with another yarn type as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's something that I think is a little bit undervalued, and we'll come back and talk about ideas for how to work with it in a little bit.
A lot of ideas. And then next on our mohair list, we do have 80% wool and 20% mohair, and we call this our Aran. And this is perfect for a beanie or a cowl or neck warmer. Very, very light. And you can even use it for a jumper, sweater. Very, very nice.
This one is a single spun yarn. So you'll see here just one strand that's giving you that weight.
And next on our mohair list, we have our Kidsong, which is 70% kid mohair and 30% silk. And if you have been on our website, we have some lovely shawls knitted in this yarn type. So this is very nice, light, especially if you knit a shawl, and it's very versatile. So you can fold it up very small, put it in your purse. And when you go outside and it's a little bit cool, you can just throw it over you. So this is amazing.
It's a really beautiful yarn, and there are quite a lot of designers making patterns with this where they're using multiple strands together, but it also combines beautifully with the merino lace single or the merino twist or even the DK. If you want to kind of gauge up a yarn and you want a little bit of extra softness, this is a lovely way to do it.
And then last but not least, this is our fairly newest baby on our Cowgirlblues list, is our fluffy weight. And this is, I have to read the label. This is too much for me.
78% kid mohair, 13% wool, and
9% nylon.
Yeah. So it's the way mohair is spun is around a core. And so for this yarn, the nylon is the core. For the kid silk, the silk is the core and the mohair is spun around it. And yeah, it's a brushed mohair yarn. It's lovely for knitting in a very loose gauge.
And you might even see this in a project later.
Yeah. Thanks, Elmarie.
It's a pleasure.
So I have to put my glasses on to read our schedule over here. So I am going to talk to you a little bit about our green theme for this month. And we started last year with a process of dyeing some one-off colors on a regular basis. We have a, it's okay, a color card, which I'm going to grab for you. So we have a color card of 30 standard solid colors, which are available in all our yarn bases. So any yarn weight page on the website that you go onto, you'll see the pictures of the yarn in all of the different colors. And then we also have 10 standard multicolors, and we've had those in our range for a while. And so last year I started experimenting with doing a limited edition colorway. So some once-off colors every month inspired by different things. Busiswa did some of that dyeing. And when I got back to work in January, I decided that we needed a bit of a holiday theme, and especially to tie that in with our green colors for the month. So I started with some multicolors in that little bit in different greens. So this one over here is called Roy Else, which is a little bay beach spot about an hour and a half from Cape Town, just on the coast, that was on my way to Pringle Bay, where I went during the holidays. And if you look on the limited edition page on our website, you'll see these different yarns and a photo image of the places that inspired the colors. So if I bring it a little closer, you'll see that there's some of this very bright green, more of a sagey green, a little bit more yellow, and it's a blended kind of more watercolory type multicolor. So that's called Royals. The next one I've got is one of my favorites. It's called Beach Flowers. And this is combining some of this bright green over here with much softer, a pale yellow, a paler yellowy green, sort of peachy pink. And you can see that there's some slightly stronger color over here. So that one's called Beach Flowers, and a lot of the coastal areas in South Africa have wildflowers, certainly in the Western Cape, have wildflowers growing on the dunes and on the beaches. And you'll see the picture there on the website that inspired this one. But yeah, just giving you ideas of how you can put greens together with different colors. Summer would not be summer for me without some swimming in the sea. And this colorway is called Tidal Pools. And it reminds me of the many, many coastal tidal pools that you can find along the peninsula here. And those are often walls built right onto the sand and into the rocks. And they are exposed to the tides. And so flush with clean water every high tide. Many of them are quite cold here in Cape Town, but a lovely, refreshing swim is definitely part of my summer routine. And so this yarn colorway has the blues and greens of Tidal Pools. And all of these multicolors I'm showing you are dyed on our Merino DK base. Next one is Flower Walk. So you can see greens with purples, a little bit of mustardy yellow, and walking in the fynbos, which is the vegetation around our Cape coast, is also an important part of my general health and well-being, but also my holidays. And I love taking pictures of all the different flowers that I see there that inspire how I think about color. So not just fynbos walks, but also afternoon strolls. If you've been lucky enough to have an afternoon nap and need a little freshening up afterwards, my family would always go for a walk. And so there's some blue sky in these ones, and bits of hints of other colors on a soft green background. So Nancy has asked if we have swatches knit up in these colors so that you've got an idea of how they come out. For the limited editions, no, we don't. They're small batch yarns at the moment. And so I'll talk you through how to get an idea of how they might knit up. But for our standard multicolors, if you look on the website, you'll see that there are swatch pictures with all of those yarns that give you an idea of how they knit. And we are going to look at a couple of the green ones shortly. So this colorway is called On the Dunes, and you can see some little bits of red, and then a mostly muted greens, a little bit of sable. And so when you're looking at a skein and wondering how it's going to knit, one thing to look at is the tonality of the color. So does it look like everything's kind of the same shade, a little bit like the beach flowers? So with this one, you can see that most of it, with beach flowers, most of it is in these soft pale colors with some little bits of green. So the green is going to show up as 1 or 2 stitches on the softer, more watery colored background. This one has got longer pieces of the red here. So that would show up as more stitches in that color, again, on a softer background. And if you compare that, for example, to the Tidal Pools, so because the blue and the green here are very similar colors, you're just going to get a much more muted effect of the similar colors rather than different pieces of color showing up across the knit. And then the last of our multicolors is called Sunny Succulents. So we have quite a dry climate, hot, dry summers, and a lot of succulents grow in this area, and you find them all over the sand dunes. And so they are definitely a part of summer for me. So you can get an idea of the yellows, reds. And yes, Michelle, to your question, these are all dyed on our DK base. All of the other yarns are standard multicolors, the solid colors. You can see the standard solid colors here behind me. Those are all dyed on all of our yarns. The limited edition we do as a once-off thing. So the last color that I have in the limited edition section is called Summer Green, and it's quite bright. I'll put it in this hand. Yeah. I love the intensity of this green. I have been seeing it in different places and I've been dying to do something like this. And I tried it just before just as the holidays started. And then I've been knitting a project which is not quite finished, but it will be by Saturday. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Kim, because I was going to say I would really love to get a thumbs up or a thumbs down from you. Is it a yes? Is it a no? Because it's something that I think would, yeah, it's really intense as greens go. And I see someone shaking their heads there. And it's very strong, but it's a really amazing color, like against gray or charcoal or any neutral color, in fact, I think would be incredible. And then also starting to play with it in different colors. So I am going to tell you just a little bit about the cowl. Yes, Carol, 10 points for you. It's a cowl. It is something that I was an extremely bad test knitter over the holidays because it was supposed to be finished by the 14th of January. And the pattern actually got published on Tuesday. And I have not finished my test knit yet. But I've spoken to the designer and she's been very nice and said, I will be allowed to test knit again. The cowl is amazing, absolutely amazing. It is a pattern called Nouverie. Sorry, Katie, I didn't give you this information. Do you mind Googling to find the link? Melissa N. West on Ravelry, Fox and Fig on Instagram, and it's her latest pattern is called Nouverie, Nouverie. Thank you. So you start up at the top here and work down. It is basically a cabling pattern. It was my first attempt at cables, not doing cables again. And I'm very nearly finished. I have just got about 6 more rows to do to close off the bottom here, and then it's got a lovely ruffled edge. And I will be finishing it. You might see the next stage of progress tomorrow, but it will be done by Saturday. So please come back on Saturday and have a look because it's a really awesome pattern. And Melissa is an American designer who is based in Ann Arbor in Michigan, and her pattern's amazingly well written. It's got very detailed videos, written out and chart instructions. So yeah, I'm hoping she's going to do a bit of a collab and do some designing with some of our yarns, but more about that later. So yes, this is a very beautiful cowl. Yeah. Okay. Is that me, or do I need to talk a little bit about color combining? You want to do?
I can do the box collection and then you can do the color combining.
Okay, that sounds good. Yes, perfect.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So Cindy, yes, you asked the colors DK. I use DK. I'm hoping to get it out in 2 skeins, and I will let you know how that goes. Yeah. So Elmarie's going to talk to you a little bit about some of our other formats for our yarn.
Yes. So we have some nice, interesting. So in late last year, we introduced our mini box collections. And these are a perfect way to play with to think about your next project, or to plan your next project. So especially when you.
Good afternoon. I mean, good morning. I don't even know where I am right now. Sorry.
You're good morning. We are good afternoon because
That's for
we're
sure.
in Cape Town in South Africa. But welcome.
Welcome, welcome. So here we have our mini box collection, and it comes in all 7 of our yarn bases. And at the moment in my hand, I have our Merino lace, which is 10 grams per mini ball.
So each mini ball is one of those.
Yeah. And the lace mini, it's about 60 meters or 66 yards. I did my homework this time.
In one little mini ball.
In one little mini ball. So with the whole box, you would get about 2,000 yards in a lace mini collection. And the mini collections are perfect for, especially if you have a nice, your favorite sweater or jumper, and there you have a little hole, and you don't want to get rid of the whole piece, and you just want to brighten it up a bit. This is a perfect way to do. Or even if you knitted something and you just want to put something extra, this is a perfect way to do this. And you can even buy this or have it as your personal stash, hanging against your wall in your cupboard, and every time you get friends, you just admire these ones. It's perfect, and it comes in all of our 30 standard semi-solid colors, so which is very perfect to see our yarn base.
And Carol made a note in the chat that it's perfect for the sea glass sweater. And yes, absolutely. So the sweater version of the pattern, I think, dropped on Wednesday. And there's also a t-shirt version of it. And if you're using some of your stash yarns, this is a lovely way to introduce other bits of color into a project. I always think of granny squares when I see these, because that's a sort of where my comfort zone ends with crochet. But I love working with granny squares. And so if you were into putting together a granny square blanket, that would be amazing. Oh, Carol's holding hers up. Hold on, Carol, we'll come to look at you in just a sec. So this particular box Elmarie's holding is our lace weight yarn. But they do come in all of the yarn bases. So yeah. You can also get the minis individually, right?
Yes,
on the website.
Can.
Yes. So if you just want, for example, for something like the sea glass tee, if you're looking for just a few little pops of color and you don't want a whole set, you can
buy them individually.
You can order them individually. Yeah.
Yes. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Elmarie, if you can keep that there for a second, I have been thinking about putting together a project that uses all of the candy in the box. And so I worked up a little swatch just using a couple of blues that I had at home. And I wondered what you think of just something quite simple and straightforward like that, or with a little more pop in it. This is using the lace weight 2 strands together so that you can marl the yarns all the way through. But yes, I don't know how people feel about the weight of different yarns. Would you be comfortable? People don't always choose lace weight because they imagine very intricate and detailed knitting. But I think that it's fantastic for combining, because 2 strands together is the equivalent of a fingering or sport weight. And so it's very easy then to combine colors. So that's kind of what I've got in mind at the moment.
And yes, Nancy, it does look like a candy box.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Just stare at it the whole time.
Yep. yeah, they are beautiful and very cool. So I think I'm up next. Yes, I'm checking my
Yes.
list. Yes, I have to talk about our new projects. So I've shown you the Nouverie cowl, and I will come back and show you the finished project. And thanks, Katie, you put the link into the chat for anyone who wanted to find that. So we'll talk more about that on Saturday.
And would you like to remind the people that we still have a discount code?
Oh, yes, I would. Thank you. So VKL Jan 22.
Yes.
Gets you 10% off in our online store. So please do use it. So I did 2 other test knits over the holidays where I was more successful and able to finish them. And this first one is a beanie called the Flex Hat, and it's by Merino Knit Designs. And again, you can see it's in my beautiful new shade of green, and this is a lovely basic ribbed beanie with a nice brim turnover or turn up. So that's another nice pattern idea. And then you might have seen Isabelle Kramer's Gelker hat, which she has put on, she's put it onto Ravelry as a free pattern, and I test knit that in the holidays as well. And that's got this beautiful double knit brim, which was the first time I'd done that. It's a little bit fiddly when you join it together, but otherwise very straightforward. Then some nice color work with a pom-pom on top. And we've put a bundle onto the website with 1 skein and 2 minis of Merino DK for this one. Or if you thought you might have 2 takers for the hats, you could get 2 different skeins of DK. So for example, this one, and you could mix it with a solid color like that, or something a bit more poppy. These 2 talking to me. And then you could knit one, you could use one as the main color in the first hat and then use it as the contrast color in the second. So that can also be quite a nice way.
That's a beautiful combination.
Yeah, I also think so. To try those. So that's Pringle Bay with Faded Rose. Yes, so that was my other test knit, which I really enjoyed. It was
and the Gelker had the one that with the pom-pom. We also have yarn bundles on the website as well. So we have 3 different colorways. Forgot my words.
Yes, 3 different color combinations. Oh, thanks, Elmarie.
So here we have our Silver Fox combined with Rainforest. And then we have, because we do green this month, our Sage with our Aubergine. And then we have our very nice Camps Bay with Celadon.
Cindy, I find it very difficult to believe that you're too chicken to test knit. The thing that I found with the test knitting is I got overwhelmed by the amount of communication that everyone was putting on, just sort of social stuff, whether it was on Slack or a Ravelry group. It was like every time I looked, there were another 150 messages, and I was just like, oh my word, this is too much. But yeah, I recommend the test knitting. It's a nice way to stretch yourself a little bit. And Cindy, you also asked what was the inspiration for the new green colorway. That question is a little more difficult to answer. I don't have an inspiration picture for it because it's just been in my head for a while, and I've been noticing clothing, decor shoots, homes, design. Yeah, and that color keeps catching my eye. And I think that's one of the things about it. It really is an eye catcher, because if you look at the colors up on the wall over here, I mean, it's just Look at it over there. It really pops out at you. So I think that it's an incredible color for an accessory like that, to put into some color work. If you're doing color work, I can totally see it in a Stephen West shawl, where it might be playing with other greens or like really leaping out at you as a complete contrast to some much more subtle colors. So yeah, I'm very curious to see if people like it, but then buy the other colors, or like it and buy it to see, yeah, just to see kind of how it comes up. And then I saw, Kathy, you asked a question about knitting a lot of Fair Isle, and what would be good for that. Does your question relate to which yarn base? Because if so, I think your two options, I mean, probably the Merino twist is the one that is most well used for that, because two sport weight layers together is not too heavy. But obviously that depends on your climate and where you live and what kind of things you're knitting.
Yeah, I do a lot of I don't know if you're familiar with the woolly thistle, but in New Hampshire, but like I've done a lot, gotten yarns from them to do like Fair Isle hats, or, you know, Mucklestone, I love doing Fair Isle because it's complicated, and I love to work with color, and I've used a lot of your kits. Yeah. So I love them. But you've put them together, and I don't know which yarn I would choose if I wanted to do, say, a Fair Isle hat. Because, for instance, I get the Shetland books and things like that. Yeah. So I don't know what yarn would be the best.
So what I would do in that situation is work by the meterage to find the closest comparable alternative. So maybe have a look in the book and see what yarn is being recommended in the patterns and what the meterage is of that yarn. And so if you're being suggested something that's, I don't know, 360 meters or 350 meters and 100 grams, then our Merino twist is a good comparison. If it's 500 meters and 100 grams, then you need something finer, and working with our lace or putting the lace and the kid silk together could be a good way to do that. And I'm very happy to answer any questions specifically, you know, specific ones about different patterns. You're welcome to come back with some details tomorrow, or drop me an email.
Great.
Find us on shopping at Cowgirlblues or Bridget at Cowgirlblues. And also do sign up for our mailing list while you're visiting the website. I write a regular email every Tuesday, and we are, you know, the mailing list is slowly growing, and I get nice feedback from everyone that's hearing about the business, the people, new projects.
Your blogs are great.
Oh, thanks. So it's worth signing up and testing out a couple of weeks and see if you like what we have to say. So yes, Elmarie, yes. What is next? Okay, so you were going to ask about the shawl. Oh, what's the shawl behind you? Okay, there we go. Elmarie, fire away.
That's next on our list, you guys.
Yes, so thank you for the lead into that one.
So something old, something new. Because it's our green theme this month, we started off with our Joys of Spring shawl, and it's perfectly knitted in with our kid silk. And then we have a ball of Merino lace over here. So our kid silk is in the color Karma Chameleon, and the lace ball is in Orchid Blush, and then another lace ball in Rainforest. So this is perfect for that chilly weather. Very nice, very versatile, and it comes perfectly with a project bag over here, with a beautiful scrappy swatch patch, and we get a printed pattern inside as well. And if you ever get stuck, Miss Henderson very nicely put a YouTube video on our YouTube channel with everything that you need. So if you ever get stuck with anything on the pattern, she is there to help you. And this is a perfect, very nice, warm, also light shawl.
Yeah, and look, I see that. So Ronnie, to answer your question, yes, absolutely, we'll wind the skeins with pleasure. You just leave a note with your order asking for them to be wound. And we're very happy to do that. And then about this particular shawl and the level of knitting, I would say as a confident advanced beginner or early intermediate knitter, you would be fine with this. The techniques are not terribly complicated. Just want to take it off. Show everyone. And you start bit by bit. So you start in the one corner. In fact, I think it's the other corner. No, it would be that one I had first. So you start in the one corner over here, and then there's quite a bit of changing yarns and changing colors, and the techniques repeat. So there's a section here, and then a garter stitch section, and then another section and some garter stitch. So it's not overwhelming with everything happening at the same time. And this one is called our Joys of Spring shawl. And Elmarie's showing you there. You can get an idea of the size and what it looks like. And the edging, this picot knit edging over here is knitted on at the end. It's how you cast off. So it's very slow cast off, but it gives a very pretty detailed edge to the shawl. And the other edges are knit in as you go along, because it's a triangle and you're starting at one point and it's getting wider. Katie has put a note into the chat saying that you can find the YouTube video tutorials. If you go to the Cowgirlblues YouTube channel, the videos are there as a playlist, and you'll be able to have a look at them. So if you're a little uncomfortable about, can I do this, then maybe go and have a look at the video and see what you think as I'm talking through the different sections, and then you can get a feel for whether you would be okay with that or whether it feels too much. Karen says she's working it up in different colors, so that's always an option. Nice. Elmarie and I are always happy to help. Ooh. If you say, look, I really like this multicolor or that solid color, what should I put with it? And many of our regular customers who are here have versions of things that they've done in different colors. And then, yes, Ronnie, there is a discount. It is VKL Jan 22, and that will get you 10% off any of your orders until the 30th of January.
Mm-hmm. And and next on our knit kit list,
yes,
is our Beehive baby blanket.
Okay. Come on.
And this is also something old, something new. So because of our green theme this month, we have our baby Beehive baby blanket. So it is perfectly knitted in our Merino twist together with our Merino double knit. And this color is our 9-5 in DK with 5 different balls of twist. And it comes with a perfect, okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to hold up all the yarns. Okay.
We have our Merino DK in 9-5 and our twist 5 colors, which you can also choose your own colors as well. If you, yeah. And then we also have our perfect project bag with our swatch as well.
So I just wanted to explain here that in terms of the structure of the blanket, if you go back, then we can show the whole thing. It is a baby stroller size, and each ball of Merino twist is worked to the end in a full stripe, and then the Merino DK makes this little contrast color over here. And it's a beautiful gift, you know, someone who is having a baby, and you can customize it to the colors that the parents like for the child. And you could make it bigger if if you wanted to do a double size, you could make it a lot longer or wider. So yeah,
Bridget, I'm working on my custom color. May I show it?
Yes, of course. Give me 1 second and I'm going to spotlight you. There is Eileen. Okay.
So I have already completed the 2 sections. I guess that's the chili pepper and one of your grays and the sweet dreams. And these are the other 3 colors. Remember, we picked
amazing
these colors. My soon to be born new grandson in the next few weeks, his parents are Harry Potter enthusiasts. So we sort of have a Harry Potter theme going on. And I absolutely love it. It is so cheerful and bright and beautiful. I've already made him a very neutral blanket, like really neutral, completely opposite. This is making me so happy. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Pleasure.
I'm glad that you're enjoying it, Eileen. Thank you for sharing and giving us a little shout out. We don't plant Eileen in the audience. She spontaneously asked, showed that project. And yeah, we love to make custom colorways and combinations for you as well. So
it's such a beautiful blanket. I just cannot say enough about it. I know you designed it for your niece.
Yes.
And one day I'm hoping to make, because this is my second custom. I'm hoping one day to make for a little girl the one that you show in the pinks.
Yeah, it's fun.
We need a girl. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks, Eileen. So Kim, you have asked, do we have any stockists in Canada? Shipping can be very expensive, and we will always warn you, there are no duties to the US, but going into Canada, you do end up paying duties and VAT. And we are actually looking for some stockists in Canada. So if you have a local yarn store that you think might be interested in us, whether it's in Canada or the US, please drop us a mail or show them our yarns and we'll get in contact with them. We've been doing some work on our price list and catalog presentation that will be ready next week. And so we really are looking to raise our game in terms of stockists in North America. So not at the moment, Kathy, but hopefully soon. And then, okay, just double checking there. Yes, so Katie's mentioned that we ship with DHL and they have given us great service. It's not cheap, but it's reliable and extremely efficient. And we haven't had any issues with shipping parcels to North America, other than the issue with duties going into Canada. So you can rest assured that your goods will arrive if you're ordering from us.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I think last but not least,
Okay.
on our yarn bundle is our Good Karma Shawl. So remember I said you will see the fluffy later in a project. Here we are. So this is a beautiful triangle, also not triangle shawl, and it's knitted in 1 skein of our fluffy in Good Karma, Karma Chameleon, and 1 skein of Merino DK in Karma Chameleon, and then 1 ball of Merino Twist in Aubergine. You can also customize or choose your own colors if you'd like, and this is perfect, especially now that it's winter and it's snowing and it's cold where you are. This is the perfect shawl to go for.
And Elmarie is bravely trying on the shawl in our summer heat.
Yes, hot.
It is. Elmarie, I'm looking for the swatches that we put together. Oh, so that's what I'm looking for here. Yes. Okay, so that's another one of our knit kit options that you'll find in the knit kit section of the website. And that is called the Good Karma Shawl, and it does come in a kit. If you go into the knit kits,
Yarn bundle.
it's a bundle.
Yes.
Yes. You will find it in the knit kits section on the website, the Good Karma Shawl. And Valera, thank you very much for your feedback about local yarn stores. Please, anyone else wants to let us know, you're very welcome. And then what I thought we would do, if you've got other questions or specific ones about color, you're very welcome to put them into the chat, or if you want to ask something, just let me know and you can unmute and ask a question, because what we're going to do for the next few minutes is just look at combining colors with different multicolor combinations. So yes. So here you can see one of our multicolors, Signs of Spring. And then over here you can see how you can combine it with a lace single. Here's the Kid Silk on its own. And here is the Merino lace single on its own in Celadon. This is Signs of Spring in Kid Silk and Celadon. And then over here you can see the two knit together in a swatch. So the swatch takes on a lot of the blue tone, and just the strong bits of color pop out on against that background. Then another example with the Signs of Spring here is with the Merino lace in olive.
Yeah.
And there you can see when the olive's a darker background, the lightness and whiteness in the Signs of Spring is very evident against that darker background. But maybe you can just hold up the blue one again. But the light colors, you know, it disappears here against the Celadon. And so here you get the little pops of pink and dark green, and then the much paler, more natural colors there. Different ways of knitting and how different colors show up. So over here you can see brioche in our Merino DK. So this is using Tambourine Man as a multicolor and then sage as a solid. And then here you can see a two-color rib, and that's Karma Chameleon with Rainforest. And I see Carol's comment. Carol, thank you. You say we're the best for Stephen West shawls. You know, he uses a lot of these different techniques in his project. So it can be really nice to play with how you put the colors together for those. That's what the Karma Chameleon looks like just on its own when it's knitted up. And then here we've played with taking the Merino twist in Karma Chameleon and then combining it with different colors of, here it's combined with the same colorway, the Karma Chameleon and the Kid Silk. Here this Kid Silk is sage, here it's olive, and here it's aubergine. And so it's quite interesting just to see how the different, by putting different colored yarns together, you get a very different effect. Cecilia Campacciario is a queen of marling, and she's doing a lecture, I think it's tomorrow evening, our time, or afternoon, your time. So I've signed up to participate, to watch that, because I'm very curious to hear her talk. And I know she teaches lots of classes as well. Then we've got a couple more swatches. So here you can see the Karma Chameleon and Kid Silk. It is showing up as striped here just because of the length of the small swatch, but it isn't actually a striping yarn. And there you can see if you take the natural and put the natural and Kid Silk together, it's almost like mixing paint where the white softens the color and makes it paler. So the same kind of applies to the yarns as well. Amrie's question, Michelle's question, yes.
Here you go, Michelle.
I love the top one. Which yarns are those?
So it's the swatch is knitted in Merino DK, and the natural color with the little splashes is called Tambourine Man, and the background color is Sage.
Oh, to combine the okay.
Yeah.
Tambourine and Sage.
Yeah.
And that's in, what is the yarn?
The base here is Merino DK.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to start, my next project is a Carolyn Bloom from Bloom Handmade Studio, her Concurrent wrap, which is a twisting brioche pattern, and you do it in 2 colors, and half of it, halfway through you switch the colors, so you get these 2 different color effects. I haven't.
Difficult.
It is difficult. It is difficult. I'm not going to lie, as Cynthia would say. But then this cable cowl I've just done is difficult as well. But you know, you take it slow and go 1 stitch at a time, and you get there in the end. So yes, that's what I've got to take some yarn home for my next project.
Thanks for the heads up.
But a
though.
brioche. Yeah. Yes.
I'd love to see that. I'm taking a beginner's brioche today at the VK Live.
Excellent.
But I'd love to see that sample in a cowl. I think it would be great in a cowl or a hat. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so Katie's got a hat on her desk that I knitted. I just want to grab it,
Yeah.
different colors.
Okay.
So also just to show you that if you like the look of any of the limited edition colorways and you wonder what can you do with them once you've got them, beautiful way to mix a multicolor and a solid. Brioche is fantastic. So for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of this pattern, but by tomorrow I will know. And you can see the other side. You know, it's quite different depending on which yarn you've got at front or back. So this I also knit in our Merino DK. And then Andrea Mowry has got her Harlow Worsted Hat that is a hat pattern. I use Merino Twist for that, but again, you could use 2 solids or use a solid and a multicolor. So yeah, lots of ways to combine colors, but it is quite nice to move into some of the slightly more difficult techniques. And that also is part of our green theme for January, because green is also about being inexperienced, and the only way to get more experienced is to try new things. So trying new things in January, good way to go. Carol, did you say this hat pattern you want? Yes, I know it's in one of my newsletters from last year or the year before. Yeah, I've got it, and I will be able to tell you tomorrow what pattern it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other questions that you'd like to ask? Any comments? Have you seen things that you think are interesting and your fingers are itching to go and buy some yarn?
I must say something. I attended several of your VK Lives. I've never bought anything because I'm not a novice, but I came back to knitting and I don't feel confident in choosing it and how to combine yarns. I see patterns I like that ask for, let's say a worsted weight. You don't sell a worsted weight, correct?
Well, I get very confused by what people call a worsted weight, because sometimes I see patterns saying that worsted weight is 200 meters in 100 grams, and then other times it's 220 or 240 or yeah, so I get a bit confused, but I think you could substitute our DK for a worsted weight depending on the pattern.
Yeah, so what would you combine with the DK to make it a little heavier to meet that 4 stitches per inch? They have a lot of patterns that are
so if you want to make the DK heavier, depending on how much heavier you want to go, you could knit 1 strand of DK with 1 strand of kid silk, and that would give you a thicker yarn. You could knit the DK with the lace. You know, if you want really thick, mix the DK and the fluffy. Yeah. Okay. But if you've got a particular pattern that you want some help with, you're always welcome to send us an email or send a WhatsApp, and we can make a time when we can talk with you live and via WhatsApp or Zoom and help you figure it out. And yes, Carol said, don't forget the Aran. No, don't.
The Aran weight, the Aran is like, it's like a worsted, right? The Aran.
Yeah, I'm gonna brush up on the worsted, and I'll talk to you a bit more about it tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to become a little more experienced at combining you because I mean, I love your stuff.
Yeah,
It's-
but I'm very
unique
happy
reaction.
I'm very happy to help with that on an individual project basis. And yeah, it's something that I've also been thinking about. Okay, start to make more videos and things like that so that people can find it.
What about a knit long?
I'm gonna just quickly go. Arlen's got a question. Arlen, do you want to ask your question in person? You're on. You're typing. Yes. Okay. So then Valera has asked, are the greens going to be on sock yarn? We haven't done any yet, but I certainly could. I certainly could fit that in. I think, has our sock yarn arrived?
Yes, it is.
Yes, because we were waiting for
did.
stock. We ran out of stock over the holidays, but it's arrived. So so we can certainly look at doing some greens or just doing a sock theme soon. Michelle, you've asked about a knit along. Yes, I have. I am not entirely sure how to organize the knit along, etc. But if you're into brioche, I'm doing the concurrent brioche, so you're welcome to join me. But
Which is that? Concurrent.
a concurrent yeah, it's the kind of twisting brioche things. But what I'm trying to do also is just kind of plan a little further ahead so that I can say, okay, well, I'm going to knit this project next, and we can do a knit along with that. But I'm open to suggestions. So if there's something that you want to knit and you want some support knitting it, then, but you know, just drop me a mail and say, hey, what about doing this as a knit along? Great. I mean, I don't know what kind of involvement you want for a knit along. You know, do you want an Instagram live? Do you want Zooms? Do you want just a Ravelry group?
I've done is, I mean, I've participated in a Zoom recently,
Okay.
and it really
And you enjoyed that?
Yes, because
Okay.
it's also an opportunity for everyone to see how everyone else is doing, what they're doing, how they're combining colors.
Exactly.
Discuss problems, and then you go into little chat rooms, and I found it really great experience.
Okay. Okay. I will start to think about how to do that. And if you happen to see one coming up that's that structured, then please let me know. And I'll join someone else's to see how they've structured it in a more organized way. Yeah.
I've done it with the Clinton Cashmere.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done one of those.
Yeah.
It was some months ago.
So yes, I don't know. Any other questions? Otherwise, we've officially reached our time limit. Sorry, Arlen, I wasn't sure. Can you talk to her? Your sound isn't coming through, so I can't hear you. No.
One more question.
Hang on one.
I'm sorry.
Arlen, sorry, we can't hear you. The sound isn't working. I don't know if you want to sign out and come back in again, because I'll stay for a minute. Or type your question, or we try again tomorrow. Okay. So sorry, Michelle, you had another question?
Someone had said that your Aran is a heavy worsted. Your
Yeah.
Aran yarn. What gauge range is that? What would you say?
I'm
just
just
trying
going
to-
to
The gauge. Like if you were using an 8 needle, what would the gauge be? If you
can you tell me what an 8 needle is in millimeters? So I tell you what, Michelle, I'm going to come back with more info tomorrow.
Okay, I'll join tomorrow. What time is it tomorrow?
It's same time tomorrow and an hour earlier on Saturday, because
Okay.
we've got a major heat wave coming through on Saturday, and it's the weekend, so everyone's home, and yeah, it needs to be a bit earlier. We're on the other side of the world.
I can just also jump into on the Aran question, because I'm knitting a sweater in your beautiful Aran right now.
Amazing.
So I'm using
May I
my
spotlight you,
needle.
Cindy?
Great. My needle is a US 9, and the gauge in stockinette is 12.5 stitches per 4 inches.
Wow. Oh, so that's pretty.
I think the pattern called for Erin, so I just like, and then it took me a couple tries to get gauge, just working with different needles. But it's I mean, your Erin is so beautiful. It is just so soft. I'm a total fan, and it's single ply. It's single ply, so you have to be okay with that, and I am. But I mean, I'm gonna have a sweater in this delicious Erin. I can't wait.
Amazing. No, thanks for that. Thank you for sharing. That's really helpful. Thank you so much. Okay, so that is the end of our presentation for today. We will be back at the same time tomorrow, and we will show you some similar things and some different things. We'll answer all your questions and come with more questions. Yeah, it'll be lovely to chat to you. So thanks for joining me today, and Elmarie today, and Katie over there in the background.
And please don't forget to give some feedback in the event hub.
Thank you for remembering that, Elmarie. Yes, please do give some feedback.
I got a golden
in the event
star.
hub. Cool. So thank you for joining us. Lovely to see you, and hopefully see you tomorrow.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.